And Stephen, those 36% of Republicans out there who support both of these infrastructure bills do not seem to be very well represented in the United States Senate.
No, they don't. I mean, one thing that the Democrats are really doing differently from 12 years ago is they're focusing a lot more on sugar. 12 years ago, the Democrats were newly in charge of all three, the House, the Senate, and the White House, and they were pursuing cap and trade, very controversial. The Republicans could easily call it a tax increase on turning on the lights. This time around, the Democrats are talking about sugar. They're talking about tax cuts for EVs. They're talking about upgrading the grid. They're talking about roads and bridges, things that are a lot easier to sell. And they're standing fast on that Biden pledge of not raising taxes directly on anybody making less than $400,000 a year. And so if you hear that, hey, I'm going to get some roads and bridges, and I might get some childcare down the line, and there's elder care. There's a lot of things that poll very well. I'm not surprised that you're seeing some polling like that. And I'm also not surprised you're seeing Republicans dig in, because they don't want tax increases. That their agenda has been for decades to cut tax rates, not raise them. And so, those are their allies, the business community, et cetera.
And Jonathan Alter, the more I listen to the president about it, the more it sounds like he believes the road to Democratic success in the next congressional campaigns and in the next presidential campaign is paved, as they say, with this infrastructure legislation.
Yeah, he has to put points on the board, and this is the most popular way to do it. And I think it's on track. I'm not, sanguine about it, but the complexities are, you can overcome them. And I think we saw with John Yarmuth that, these are very skillful legislative operators. They don't have to deal with Republicans on the reconciliation package. And you didn't see Republicans headed for the exits on the infrastructure bill when, they got mad about the process and then mad at Biden and his press conference, because they know their constituents want this. And it's very, very hard ultimately to vote against something that people want.
And Stephen, the Democrats are they're not running out to the microphones to say, here's my line, you can't cross this line. It's very common in the past in situations like this to have, 3 or 4 lines being drawn by different people or different factions of Democrats in the House, maybe another 2 lines being drawn by some Democrats in the Senate saying, absolutely, I will not vote for it if X. When you're not hearing that rhetoric, that's when, at least for the time being, it's going smoothly.
I wouldn't call it smooth sailing. I think it's going to be an incredibly difficult and complex, sort of dance here. You got the bipartisan bill that's still being written as we speak. The details are still being fleshed out. At any minute, Mitch McConnell could pull the rug out. He still has a CBO score he could complain about and other things on process. So even, just that first step is not guaranteed. The budget resolution is going to be a bear to get passed. And that's just the easy part, doing the budget resolution, because it doesn't have all the details in it. And then that final reconciliation bill, if you think about it, Democrats have 10, 12 years of pent up things that Mitch McConnell has successfully blocked. And this is their one chance to do things that Mitch McConnell can't veto. So every group out there who has something they want to do on immigration, on the environment, on climate, on healthcare, on pre-K, on all of these things, this is your one shot. And the thing is, nobody really knows right now, including Joe Manchin, how much he's going to let through that keyhole. And this could very well extend 3 or 4 months before they get that final package written.